So today, we're going to uncork a pretty fascinating question that's right at the heart of the wine world. In an age where everything is constantly changing, how do you save a tradition?
When you see a picture like this, it's so much more than just a glass of wine, right? It tells a story about the land, the weather, and the unique vision of the person who made it. It's really an art form captured in a bottle that we've loved for centuries.
But the world has totally changed. And for an industry that's built on that kind of heritage, this brings up a huge question. In a world where you have endless choices for everything, what does quality even mean anymore?
To get to the bottom of that, we first have to understand just how much the ground is shifting right under the winemaker's feet. I mean, just think about it. From our music playlists to our news feeds, we live in a world that is all about personalization. And that expectation, it's now shaping what we drink. We're not just buying a bottle of wine anymore. We're looking for an experience that feels like it was made just for us. So, how has this industry, with all its history and tradition, been dealing with this new demand for personalization? Well, for the most part, it hasn't. It's been running on something called the push model. The idea behind it is pretty simple, and hey, for a really long time, it worked just fine. The winemaker, the artist, creates what they believe is a masterpiece. It's a reflection of their land, their skill. Then they just push it out into the world, kind of hoping that their reputation and tradition will be enough to sell it. This slide just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? The huge difference between the old way and the new. The push model is a one-way street. It's the producer talking at you. But the pull model, which we're about to get into, is a conversation. It's a loop that starts and ends with you, the consumer. You see? The old way is about hope. The new way is about engineering a match. And right here, this is the central problem with that old way. What happens when the winemaker's vision, no matter how amazing it is, just doesn't line up with what people actually want to drink? Well, you get a very expensive disconnect. Warehouses literally full of beautiful, unsold wine. So, what's the alternative? Well, it's a whole new way of thinking, a strategy that completely flips the old model on its head. And it's called the pull strategy. Now, this is a total game changer. The International Organization for Standardization, a pretty official source, has a definition of quality that basically says the old model is done. Quality isn't what the producer thinks is good anymore. It's all about what the customer wants. It's about meeting and even getting ahead of their desires. So how does this actually play out? Well, it's this continuous living loop. It all starts with listening. Listening to the market, to the trends, to what people are saying online. That understanding is then used to design the wine. But after the wine is made and sold, the most important step happens. You gather feedback, and the whole conversation starts all over again. Okay, but how do you translate something as personal as a feeling or a preference into a real, tangible bottle of wine? The answer, and this might surprise you, is science. There's this whole field called sensory analysis. And trust me, this is way more than your typical wine tasting. It's a super rigorous scientific discipline that decodes what consumers experience, turning all those subjective feelings into cold, hard data.
Okay, here's a perfect example of how it works. Say a focus group tells you they prefer fruity, fresh wines. In the lab, sensory scientists can translate that vague desire into a specific chemical profile. In this case, a target balance of malic and tartaric acids. So now the winemaker has a precise scientific goal to aim for. It's art, but it's guided by data.
But look, a single focus group can only tell you so much. To really, truly understand the market, to see the big patterns and predict the trends, you need to think much, much bigger. You have to think about data on a massive, even global scale. And this is where modern technology, especially things like artificial intelligence and data mining, becomes the winemaker's most powerful new tool. It lets them sift through huge amounts of data on what people are buying, to see the future in today's trends, and to create wines that won't just make people happy today, but will delight the market of tomorrow. So where does all this leave us? What does this all really mean for the future of wine, and for that next bottle that's going to end up on your table? Let's be really clear about something. This is not about replacing the artist with an algorithm or making some boring one-size-fits-all wine. It's about giving the artist, the winemaker, a whole new set of tools. It's about using innovation not to get rid of tradition, but to save it, to make it even more successful in a world that just won't stop changing. And that right there is really the heart of it all. This new way of doing things completely redefines the relationship between the person who makes the wine and the person who drinks it. The greatest wines of the future might not just be made for you, but actually made with you in mind. Which leaves us with one final thought to pour over. As technology gets better and better at listening to what we all want, who's really the author of the next great wine? Is it the winemaker? Is it the algorithm? Or is it, in some small but really meaningful way, you? Something to think about the next time you raise a glass.